Hi there, and welcome back to 3R Guitars. The last build I did on YouTube was quite lengthy. I think it got well over 20 parts, but it was quite a special instrument to build, the lyre mandolin. It's not been that successful really with the number of views I've got on it, but not really surprised because I'm not interested in advertising it or things like that. If people find it, and that's fine by me, sort of thing, and have a look, see what I'm getting up to. But I thought for this next build I'd do something completely normal, sort of thing, just a solid body electric guitar. So I thought I'd have a go at a bit of a play on a Telecaster guitar, sort of thing. Anyway, what I'm going to do with it, obviously everybody nowadays is finding times pretty damn hard with the cost of living, so I want to build this guitar with a budget in mind, but I want to do something a bit different, and in addition, with that budget in mind, I want to use the wood that I've got laying around. I want to make this Telecaster with wood I've got lying around, and I don't want to make it like a traditional Telecaster. I want to put my own play on it, otherwise it doesn't really interest me. So I'm going to make a capped body to it, and like a thin line, so it's got a nice wood on the top, sort of thing. And I want to put a set neck on it, just to give it a bit of class, kind of thing, if you like. I've got nothing against bolt-on necks, but that's what I want to do for this build. So I've got a template here that I've used for years, and this is actually cut from a 1957 Telecaster, so I know it's 100% accurate. A lot of the ones you buy nowadays, there's something usually, different about them from original, but just a small detail. So I'm ready to go with that. But if we look at the body first of all, for the cap of it, I've got Buckeye Burl, this stuff, which is absolutely gorgeous. It's as lightweight as cork, kind of thing. I've done a few guitars with this and it looks so special, but I really don't think it's suitable for a thin line top because it's not hard enough. So keep that for another project. I've got, this is a strong contender. It's a book matched piece of flamed maple. I think you might be able to see the flame on it, sort of thing. Flame maple. I like this a lot, and may well use this, but I'm favouring something else I've got. This actually doesn't look much, but if you wet it down a bit, I don't know if that shows up very well, but it's got a really nice sort of grain to it, and this is actually, I don't know what it's called, like a spalted poplar sort of thing, and you can see it's got just there, it's got lovely golden grain to it, sort of thing, but it's actually quite thick, and probably I think I'll save this for another project. But so this is what I'm going to use, and I don't think you'd be buying this too easy nowadays, but I've actually got, and it's the perfect thickness as well, it's about 4mm thick, book matched piece of rosewood. So both bits are like that. See if I can get a bit of wetness on this, show it up. But that's got a really lovely grain to it. Probably look better actually when it's dry, but it's got that will look spectacular, and it's the right thickness, and I've had this for years and I've got no idea what I'm going to use it for, and this just seems an ideal project, sort of thing. So that's gonna, I'm pretty sure that's going to be the top, unless I have a complete change of heart. Now again, I've had these laying around. These I'm not exactly sure of the wood. I think it's termed limber, but if that's how you pronounce it. As far as I know, but you might want to correct me in the comments. It's the same tree as Carina mahogany comes from, but the wood only goes red towards the outside of the trunk. So this is more from the centre of the trunk, but it's the same stuff that they made. Gibson made the Flying V, early 50s Flying Vs and Explorers, and yeah, Explorers back in the 50s with, but from a different part in the tree. I mean, I think you can see the kind of similar colour, like they were very golden and this would go quite gold. So this is a very good wood, it's a very good weight. I think it will make a nice light guitar. So I'll be using this limber. I mean, I think I bought this originally as a project to do a Firebirdie sort of thing, but never got round to it, and it's been lying around. So this is what I've got, so this is what I'll be using. So book match and join these, you know, something like that. Get a Telecaster cut out from them, do the top, so that's going to be that. Now I'm a bit stuck on the neck, so I want this to be a set neck. I don't want to bolt on. And again, you know, I could go and buy a maple blank from somewhere, but you're not going to get the depth. You know, if you buy a maple blank for a Fender style guitar, you're gonna get it no more than an inch thick. So you'd have to be adding a bit under the, you know, underneath the heel to get the thickness for the joint. So I have got this, which at one point I was going to make a through neck bass many moons ago. Again, another project that's stalled. But basically, I've got that's the wrong way around. I've got these like 3 bits of wood here, these chunks of wood here, and I'm kind of thinking, because I've got the depth here, to do the neck heel sort of thing in one go without putting a joint in it, or scarfing, not scarfing it, but putting a joint in it. So I'm kind of thinking of a way to use these to do it. I don't want to do a through neck on a Telecaster. I want to do a traditional join for the neck. I've got conveniently I've got an already cut ebony fretboard which I want to use. So just really trying to cobble together a guitar for this guy in this band, Dave, and kind of make a really nice guitar, but with the cheapest way I can, sort of thing. So hopefully, you know, I'll actually come out with a few £100 from it, and he'll be really pleased with what he gets. So it's quality stuff's being used, but if you like, my old stockpile sort of thing of wood to get it done. But with the neck, I'd kind of like to use 2 of these, which that one's a bit thinner. I'd actually like to use 2 of these with the centre walnut strip here. These strips of walnut. But I've got this like really thin veneery bit of ebony, which kind of looks quite sexy, shoved in there, sort of thing. But there's not quite enough to get two strips of the ebony out of. So what I think I'll do is I'll just get on with the body and then tackle the neck, kind of thing, when I get to it. Maybe something will come up cheap and cheerful. I mean, I have a bundle of necks that, again, over the years I've bought off eBay that seem to be good. I mean, I've got like, you know, this sort of thing. I think, oh, it's only 20 quid on eBay, I'll buy it. But I don't know, I just don't feel as though I'm building a guitar unless I make the neck. And the one thing I really don't like on necks, and it's only a personal thing, you know, other luthiers are happy with it, but I hate really thick fretboards. I really like thin fretboards and just think it looks so much nicer, you know. But I've got loads of these like lying around. You know, I've got the, you know, these paddle headstock ones as well, and these are actually quite nice. You know, I mean, I've had them for a long time, and there's nothing wrong with them. And if I'm building a guitar for a, you know, a grandson or something like that, you know, I'll use these, because I mean, you can pick them up for like, you know, you used to be able to pick them up for 20 quid on eBay, and you know, they're all right for that kind of thing, for a fun project. But I think for this, I want something a bit, you know, a bit more classy sort of thing. So we'll see where we go with the neck. But this is basically what I'm favouring at the moment, and we'll see how we can get it going. I mean, like I say, it's got the option of doing, you know, the one thing in the middle, but then this is a typical Fender neck template, but that's not quite wide enough. But if I put this ebony in it in 2 strips, it is wide enough, but I haven't got enough of this ebony, so I'm between a rock and a hard place at the moment. But I'm sure I'll come out with something that will do the trick. So there we go, that's introducing my next project, and in the next video we'll get on with it and see what I can cobble together from under me bench to try and get this guitar together. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back with you soon. Anyway, here's the wood I've got for the top. I did show yesterday, but you can see how pretty that is. It's a lovely bit of rosewood, and literally I've had it around for years. It's book matched, which means that it was, you know, sliced, and so both grains both sides are the same. I think it's important a bit to you know, keep an eye on what you actually want to do when it comes to the grain. So, you know, mess about with the bits. I mean, although there's a body drawn on there, and you've got like the fancy grain like that, which is quite nice, but you know, it might also look good with that kind of thing running down the middle. So have a bit of a play with the bits you get. You know, draw the guitar on it, because I mean, obviously if you had it like that, a lot of hardware goes up the middle of the body, so you'd lose the grain. You know, or do you want it like sort of the other way round sort of thing? You know, just play around, so you know, you can see what the grain looks like on the body. Don't just lump blindly into it, sort of thing. So anyway, the Telecaster body is I mean, I know it's not metric, but it's 45.5 millimeters thick. These tools are great, by the way, and not that expensive, but buy a good one. So this body cap is just over 4.5 millimeters thick. So the body wood that I've got here is plenty thick enough. So what I want to do is obviously cut a body blank, cut this blank to about 40 millimeters thick. Then with this on it, we'll get up to the about 45.5 millimeters. But what I wanted to do, obviously with the top this gorgeous, I don't want to put a pick guard on it particularly. I want everything to go in from the back. So, and you know, have the pickups kind of somehow come through this without having surrounds or anything like that. I want to make the wood the feature basically. So most of the stuff's going to have to go in from the back, and equally, although this is, you know, not exactly a distinctive grain, what is really nice, if I'll be able to cut this down to 45 millimeters thick, 40 millimeters thick, and cut a slice off it, so I've got a matching, if you like, I've got a thin bit of wood with the same grain as the body, so any you know, control cavity covers I make, the grain will match really well. It's just a nice thing you can do. I don't think it will be so important on this wood because it's got a fairly straight grain, but what the heck, you know, I need the wood to do it anyway. So what I'm going to attempt to do now is cut this down to 40 millimeters thick and save a slab of it to do control cavity covers with. So I'll get back to you when I've marked stuff up. Okay, here we are back at the my trusty bandsaw. Couple of things here. I've marked around all bits of the wood that you know, the thickness I want to cut off. Now, one thing, you know, I did all that, then put it in the bandsaw, and it wouldn't go underneath the blade guide here. So it's plenty wide enough for half a Telecaster. So I've cut these, just cut, you know, quickly cut a strip off the end here. But when you do that kind of thing, just have a butcher's around the piece of wood, because you know, it's very easy just when you've got these tools, oh, I'll just whip it through the bandsaw. And then I was looking at this bit, you know, the edge of this that was on there, and one of them had this like big chip on the edge, and it might not be an issue, or it might be, but think, oh well, I'll saw that edge off so that at least a bit of wood gets square. But when I'm doing this now, this is quite a risky job on this machine here, because it's not the newest bandsaw. It's got a bit of wear in it. So the first thing is, what I'm trying to do, I mean, I could plane that off with my planer, which would be a lot safer, but I want to try and get, you know, a bit of wood off there to do the hatches on the back of the guitar. So first thing is to, you know, when you're doing it, if it starts going wrong, don't bugger up the body side of it. I mean, you can always do the hatches with something else. So when you're doing it, I mean, just keep checking and making sure that the blade is cut in square. So I've set this up. It's got a fence on it, obviously, that I can run the wood along. But one thing I do as well is, right, you've got the piece on there, and you push it against the fence, kind of thing, nice and evenly. But check when you've done that the wood is upright with a square, because these things are adjustable, and you know, you've got this thumb screw at the top, kind of thing, that you can do up that twists it a little bit. So just make sure everything is right before you start. Give yourself the best chance, but don't go sacrificing, you know, the actual piece that you're going to make the body out of. So let's give it a go and see how it goes. So there's our first attempt at a cut, which is absolutely perfect, but I am going to keep such a close eye on this and see how it goes. I mean, like I say, brand new blade is the essential part here. So let's carry on and keep an eye on things. Yeah, we can see here now we're not doing so well. It seems to be okay at the top edge, but the bottom edge is running off a little bit. Now it's running off on the side of the waste, which phew, that's good, but yeah, there we go. So I'll carry on with it, but keep a close eye on it, and I'm going to tighten up the tension on the blade a little bit. I mean, it may be an option as well to actually start from the other side, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to carry on and see how it goes. Okay, we've done the second half of the body. This one cut a lot better actually. I've got no idea why, probably because I wasn't pulling it out, I just did it in one go. But you know, so I've got me pieces of wood now for the back covers, and got the body down to I bet this body blank down to about 5mm below below Telecaster size. So by the time we've got the top on it, then we'll you know, we'll be back up to standard Telecaster thickness, and this wood is nice and relatively light, so it's going to make a fantastic body, I think. So where we'll go next, when I get it set up, I'll take you over to my planer and we'll plane these down to a consistent thickness. I've said about most of these tools in the lyre mandolin build, but no harm in a bit of a few different angles to look at them. This is a thickness planer. Does a brilliant job, because when you can plane wood on the top, or you can plane wood through this letterbox here, and if you push it through the letterbox here, it makes sure that when it's planed the two surfaces are exactly parallel to each other, which is exactly what you need for a guitar. So it does a great job. The only shortcoming with this one is that it's not wide enough to do a complete body, which is a shame, but you know, I've only got a small workshop, so I can't get every tool my heart desires, kind of thing. So you know, if I've got to do a wider but a full width body like a Les Paul or something, I'll do it with a router. I've got like an overhead router and a flat table. Takes a lot longer, but it does the job. But one day I might get a full width planer sort of thing. But yeah, let's get this done, and we'll go from there. So basically, nice and simple. Turn it on. Well, that was a noisy affair, wasn't it? But you can see how quickly it gets it done, and I push both bits of wood through sort of alternately sort of thing, so you're going to get them exactly the same thickness. So let's have a measure up and see what we've ended up with now. Anything around the 40mm will suit me. So that's 40, well, 40.98, which I think is fine. Let's measure both sides of it. It's actually a little bit more, but 0.2 of a millimetre more. I'm not going to worry about that. Yeah, we're exactly right with that. That's really close. So that's the planer. Now what I'm going to do next is set this up the other way round, so I can use the top to actually do the to do the jointing edges kind of thing. So get this fence nice and square, and then we'll do the jointed fences, and it gives a perfect joint. So I'll call you back when we're ready for that. Okay then, I've got the planer set the other way up now, so we can use the surface, the top here. You've just basically got to change the extractor thing, and that is also part of the safety switch. So you put that under here, that goes in there and gets it working on the top. Now the thing is, obviously these are the two bits of wood, they've got a pretty good joint as it stands, and I actually like that. Again, have a look at the wood, and we've got a bit of darkness on here, sort of thing. Not really, I mean this wood it's not that bad, but we've also got a dark edge there, and I think they actually go quite nicely together. You can see with them squashed together, the joint is actually not that visible. So what I'm going to do is just take a little fraction off this edge, and the way you adjust that is there's a knob on the end here, and it raises this side of the table, so there's not such a big step for the blade. So again, the advantage of using this and pushing it through the letterbox is we thicknessed it. The actual, the two faces have got to be perfectly parallel. So I've set this fence up exactly at perpendicular. So when I run this through, I'm going to push this quite firmly against the fence here, so we keep this will be absolutely square to the edges there. So let's just get that done now. Okay, noisy, but you could see what I was getting up to then. And when you run this over the planer, if you have got a rough sawn edge, you can actually hear when it's planing, because the tone is consistent, so you've not got anything left out. And if you've quickly sawn it by hand or run it through a saw, this edge might be all wobbly, and as it runs through the planer you can hear it skipping, sort of thing, as it goes, cuts the low points or the high points off and then leaves the low. But now we've got this joint, you can just see there. Well, can you see the joint? I can't even see it. And some people will say that planers aren't like accurate enough to do a joint. Well, I don't know whether I'm lucky or whatever, but just take a look at that again. And I'm not squashing it together or anything. I couldn't do that with wood that thick, but back and front is absolutely perfect. Sometimes the planer will take a little bit more off the first inch or something, they call that snipe, but I take such a fine cut, I don't tend to get that problem. I'd rather run it through 10 times than I would try and take 1/4 inch off or something stupid. So I think we've managed that absolutely perfect, and now what I want to do is glue it together. So I'll get you back when we do that, and we'll go from there. Thank you very much. Well, no, I mean, not really too technical here, but you can see what my intention is to glue the body halves together. Some of my dad's old clamps from his shed, ancient, but they do the job very well. You only need 2 of them really with wood this thick. If you were doing the veneer top or something, you'd need a bit more. But the thing is, make sure these bits are like clean. I'll give them a bit of a clean up, because when you glue the wood on it, have a test, make sure you get it the right way round, push it down, everything is kept like flat. I'm actually doing this on my router table, or my homemade router table, and this is an old kitchen worktop, so you know the clamps are perfectly flat. You've not got one like jacked up at the end sort of thing or something that's twisting it, so give yourself the best chance possible. And I mean, I can tell, I can run my hands over that and I can hardly feel the joint, so it's well within sanding distance. So what I'll do now, I've got this old bit of ply underneath, just to stop wood glue dripping on the router table. So we'll get this glued and clamped up now, and we'll be all good. Well, a couple of things I've done. I've cleaned up these edges of the clamp sort of thing, just so I guarantee that the wood stays flat. Set the bits of wood, make sure you've got the jointing surfaces how you want them. You've not got it like this or like this or whatever. Make sure, I mean, it's a good idea. I mean, if I'm making more than one guitar, or there's a gap, I'll put like a couple of lines across the joint with a pencil, so you know what two are going together. So have it set up how you want it glued, like this. Fold it over so you know you want these two edges with the glue. So let's get on and do that. Make sure you get 100% coverage on the glue, and within reason. I don't think you can ever put too much on, as long as you don't go nuts and it's not swimming in the stuff. I think I'll actually put a little bit more on that. Don't think it needed it, but peace of mind, So I think we're all good there. What you can do as well, if you want, is just catch a couple of clamps on the edge, which guarantees that the joint will be lined up vertically. I mean, it's not vital sort of thing. So there you go, you can see we've got consistent squeeze out there sort of thing, which is no problem. Well, you want to see that really. So I'll give that a wipe off in a moment. And if we look underneath, we've got a consistent squeeze out under there as well. So I think we're all good with that. I mean, I do tend to do these up pretty damn tight, but they're not like, they're not like grunched up or anything. So that takes care of that. People have said to me, "Oh, don't you dowel the bits of wood, just so they locate?" No, I mean, I've never had a body guitar split apart. I have seen a few old ones that have, but it's more like weird temperatures or something. But I've never had any problem at all, and I use Tight Bond Original. I should have said that. You won't get a better glue. Don't ever use the white PVA style rubbery glue. It doesn't dry hard. Tight Bond Original is just perfect for all the jobs on building guitars, I think. So there we go. I mean, in a very short time we've basically got the body done. I realise we use specialist tools like a bandsaw, and we use the planer. I have to be honest, I couldn't be without them. I mean, of course you can do it with hand tools and things like that, but not me. I'm not very good at sharpening tools, and yeah, I'm not great at using hand tools, I guess. So, you know, and I know with the planer, and you know, it just gets things perfectly accurate, and you know, they're only about £200 or £300 if you wanted to do this. I realise that's a lot if you're doing one guitar, but you can do it by hand. It'll just have to take you a much longer time. But there we go. So we'll let that set up now and get on with something else. And thanks ever so much for watching. Catch you later.